I haven't made a video in over a month because I did manage to work nearly a month on night shifts at that warehouse. I think I got through a lot more of that than I thought I would. But all I really did was sleep and work. And the few nights that I had off, I'd be up 9 hours watching Netflix and then I'd go back to sleep. And then I quit when my seasonal contract ended. And it's taken me a few days to get my body switched back to days. After that last night shift, I stayed up all day. And then I slept all night. But then I ended up sleeping all day. All night and all day. So I was back on night being awake again. And yeah, stuff like that. And not much has happened because I've just been working. But it's been pretty rough. It's been a battle. Shortly after Christmas, I had another mini psychosis, I feel like. And it was weird because there I was walking through this warehouse, crying slightly to myself, feeling really suicidal, like I wanted to just jump off a bridge. And really seeing that as a viable option. And working. And today's the first day that I feel some form of relief. This morning I was sitting there and like breathing, feeling like I was breathing voluntarily, and feeling like cautiously optimistic that the worst is over. Feeling sort of as if, is it over? Is it done? And throughout the process of working, I got really good at walking. I was pretty much walking for 10 hours a night. So even though the work wasn't that fulfilling, it was good exercise. And something else I did recently that I didn't want to do while I was working was cold turkey onto lithium orotate. And I was kind of concerned about it, but considering I was feeling like crap anyway, and I have been for months, I figured I may as well try now, as opposed to if I started to feel better with the carbonate, and then trying it when I was feeling good and stabilized, which would, I think at this point, make me less apt to want to stir things up. I feel like now going for some kind of stability and balance would be really good. And my kidneys will be happy that I'm on lithium orotate. I cold turkeyed from 900 milligrams of lithium carbonate to 20 milligrams of lithium orotate. Well, it's 20 milligrams of lithium. So, yeah, I didn't really feel any weird effects from that, and I was surprised about that. So right now, in terms of meds, I'm on 50 milligrams every night of quetiapine, Seroquel, which usually antipsychotics are my least favorite medications. Historically, I've been on 600 milligrams of lithium and a bit of trazodone for sleep, and I went on like that for quite a long time. But now it seems like my brain is not able to taper off the antipsychotics, because when I had that mini psychosis, it was right after Christmas, and I wasn't sure if it was because I had a glass or two of wine on Christmas, which I haven't had in nearly a year, or if it was because one of the days before Christmas was the only time I switched myself back to being up during the day so I could go to a little dinner thing with friends. So that I worked that night, I think, and then I slept 4 hours, and then I was up during the day, and then I slept at night and all day. So I switched myself back to days for one day by having a short sleep, which I didn't do the rest of the time I was working. I just slept during the day and worked at night. Even if I wasn't working, I slept during the day and I was up at night. And then the other thing was that I had tapered slowly off the Seroquel, and I was down to maybe about a quarter or less than a quarter of it. And I wasn't really intentionally doing that. I just had a bunch of chunks of Seroquel on a note card. So I was slowly just taking smaller and smaller of the chunks until it was a pretty small chunk. And I don't know if it was that, but I felt the whole, my brain went into this space of not being able to fall asleep. And I took 3 Seroquel or quetiapine of 25 milligrams and 2 melatonin. I was still laying there wide awake, feeling awful inside. And then the whole next day I couldn't really sleep. So that might have been, that was the night after the day I stayed awake and was with friends, and then that night I was trying to sleep and I couldn't. And then even though I was trying to sleep all day, I was half asleep, half awake, and then I had to go to work. And it was strange because I went to work after taking 3 or 4 Seroquel, a bunch of melatonin, not really sleeping, yet I was able to stay awake and function and kind of do my job, even though it wasn't easy, it wasn't fun. I was probably walking around the warehouse crying, feeling suicidal. So it was a bit of a gong show, but I was pretty determined to fulfill my contract in order to not mess it up, so that way I would be eligible to go back next Christmas season if I wanted to or needed to. If I screwed it up, then I'm pretty sure they just don't allow people to come back. So I wanted to at least have that option. So that's what's been going on. Nothing really exciting. This whole thing is weird and difficult, and this has been the most challenging ever, and I think I'll continue taking Seroquel. I took 2 last night, and I'll eventually get down to 1 and maybe down to half and just stay on half or 1, just enough to keep my brain. I think it has an oversensitivity for sure, and my mind's been obsessing about a couple things that aren't helpful, and I don't I don't know why there's this attachment to this story, and it's really strange what's been going on in my brain, and it's miserable. And I'm hoping that I can move away from that, because I have periods of time where my brain doesn't go there at all. But yeah, a lot of feeling suicidal and feeling like I almost could do it. Feeling like it's for the best. But we'll see. My brain still doesn't feel very organized, or yeah, I really don't know. I don't know if I'll get back into talking to myself. I'm about to move to a not super ideal living situation, but okay-ish, and I might go back to California for a month, which would be cool, but my brain has been unreliable. But at the same time, for the last month, I've been doing these night shifts, so that proves that I can get through something pretty challenging. It was really challenging. And I'm wondering about what's going to happen next in life. I have several ideas and possibilities, but I think being happy with not feeling suicidal and miserable is a good start.